Welcome to First Glance Film Festival and our red carpet, which we're going to have to imagine this year as we are in the midst of COVID. Welcome. It's lovely to have you. We're going to talk about the short film Girl Boxer, which I saw yesterday, by the way, and I absolutely loved it. It was such a treat to watch. So I'm really excited that I get to talk to you guys today. I'm just going to introduce you, probably butcher your names, but we have Lauren McCann. Can we have a little wave from Lauren? We have Jack Mulcahy.
That's how they say it in Ireland, actually.
Did I say it?
Mulcahy.
Mulcahy.
Yes.
I even wrote that down. And we have Molly Gaze.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you're in lockdown for a year.
That's right. We don't get out much anymore.
Okay, well, welcome. It's so lovely to have you at the festival. This film I thought was so beautifully shot. Like the aesthetic was just gorgeous. It was so delicious. And I don't know whether this is a question for your cinematographer, but Lauren, because you directed it, right, Lauren?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if you had a really clear aesthetic for the film, or whether that was something that you guys collaborated on and it sort of evolved.
Oh, no, it was extremely clear. And I was searching for the perfect cinematographer. I invited Dom to chat with us too, but he's busy. Remember his name because he's brilliant. And as soon as I saw Dom's work, I knew like this was the guy. And he got it. You know, we just would chit chat. There was a time, you know, in filming when he and I could just look at each other and yeah, and off we would go.
Awesome. Well, beautiful job. Honestly, it was just delicious. Lauren, also had another question for you. So the other thing that really struck me about the movie, first off, was just this juxtaposition of darkness and then which was sort of the world that she inhabits, and then this gorgeous like tenderness that she has in the scenes with her daughter, and it was so beautiful. And I wondered if that was something really important for you when you were making the film to show these two different sides of her world.
100%, and thank you for picking that up. I really feel that so many women have this duality in them, and it's the question of when this duality will come forward, and you know, kind of how and in what light. And yes, I have these absolute tender moments, but you know, if something happens and you mess with my kids or you mess with my family, there's a lot of darkness that could happen there. Yeah. And I think so many women have this where, and yet you can be in a drop of a hat, you just change it and be a loving, caring person in the world.
Oh no, I'm breaking up.
I'm breaking up?
I can't hear you. I don't know. Can everyone else hear Lauren? Or is it just me?
Yeah, she was breaking up a little bit, but she's back.
I'll move.
The Wi-Fi signal.
Speaking of the child, she actually woke up with a nightmare and is now in my bed, so I couldn't go in my room next to the river. I'll just sit here. There we go.
Beautiful backdrop.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I trouble you just to repeat the answer to that question, because I missed most of it, so I don't want anyone watching to miss what you've said.
Yeah, I know that whole idea of the darkness and the lightness. I really feel that so many women have that duality in them, where you can play that mothering role, but then at a drop of a hat, should the need arise, I could get very dark if I needed to.
Yeah, beautiful. And you guys, so how did you all come together to work on this? Did you have a previous working relationship? Are you friends? Like, how did this come to fruition?
I mean, a little bit of everything.
Everything.
Yeah, I had met Jack previously. We worked on a little short called Beyond Kepler. And then I had met Molly sort of within our acting community, and I had seen some of her songwriting. And I remember we were in a theater and I turned and looked at her and I said, I don't know how, but you need to be you need to be in my pilot.
And then she like came up to me afterwards and she's like, "Are you Irish?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Good." I was like, "You're gonna be in this."
I love actually mentioning the. Are you all Irish? Because look at these names.
Yeah.
Beautifully.
This group happens to be, not everybody, obviously, but
I actually love that about the film. There was the sort of interweaving of the Irish in sort of modern day America. It was like seamless, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. It really felt like deep. You really felt the deep rooted tradition of the Irish culture.
Yeah.
I think that was gorgeous. Just talking, Molly, you wrote the music. Did you write all of the music, or was it the song at the end specifically?
So I played Rue Kelly, who's the pub singer at the beginning. So when you hear the Irish lullaby come in, that's me playing, and I'm singing and doing all that. And then I only wrote the ending song, which was called Broken Wings, or Broken Things. And that song I specifically wrote because Lauren had asked me if I would be able to kind of tackle a song for that montage. And she sent me a song and she's like, "Can you kind of do something like this?" And it was very haunting and it was very beautiful. And I think I wrote that song in like 3 hours because I had known like what was going to go on in that particular moment. And then as soon as I sat down and I started writing it, it just came out. And the whole concept is I really wanted to show, like what you were talking about, the light with the darkness. And there's something very dark happening. And I wanted this song to be almost kind of like a lullaby that she's singing to her daughter and telling her it's
working together, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, because it's like, you're telling your daughter it's going to be okay. And just to like close your eyes and know that I'll be here. But in actuality, she's not there. And the monsters are coming to get her.
Yeah.
And they're literally coming to get her now.
Yeah.
So, I really loved the way that Lauren wrote the script, and I wanted to pay homage to make sure that that also reflected the vision that she had.
Yeah.
And it was just, getting to see it up on the big screen at our private screening. It was just like, oh, it's real. Oh my God.
I was not anticipating the end either. So when that all happens, I was really quite took my breath away. So I love that sort of element of surprise as well. It's great.
Well, I think the music, it was exactly that idea, that haunting beauty, and you nailed it, Molly.
For sure. And Molly, is it different writing music sort of specifically for a movie as opposed to writing something for a record or for a live performance, or is there a difference in the process?
For me, there is, and I actually kind of like it better because you come in with like a story, and there's already like a preset world that you get to play in, and it's kind of like that controlled chaos of bouncing down around the ideas and trying to figure out what the theme of it is and how to best correlate what you as an artist want to express, but also keeping true to what the person's written and the way that the world works.
Yeah.
So I really love doing that. And I've done that a couple of times with a few comedies. And this was the second time I've done it for a drama. And I was just like, oh, it's so juicy and it's so fun. Because, the other stuff that I write is very much personal, very much about my story. So I love stepping outside of myself and getting to tell someone else's story, but using the elements I have, because I'm also an actor. So it's almost like getting to do both and getting to put my acting hat on in the musical world. And I love that.
Awesome. I love that. Jack, you acted in the movie, right?
I did. I didn't say much, but I acted in it.
That doesn't matter at all. I should mention to everyone there's Jack's birthday today. So happy birthday, Jack. I would love to know about your experience as an actor on this movie, how you prepped for it. Tell us a little about your character, because not everyone will have seen the film at this stage.
As Lauren had mentioned earlier, we had done a short film together, And I had only met Lauren in the actual table reading. We didn't have any scenes in the short film together.
Oh, wow.
And then when we saw the premiere at the Lowe's in Staten Island, she approached me about this project, and I was intrigued just almost immediately. And as more and more information came to me, that's when I started to understand who this character might be. And being Irish and understanding the roots of the Irish experience, I know characters like this, not only in fiction, but actually in real life as well. And they're men of not many, many words, but they are incredibly menacing just with their presence.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that opening shot after Molly opens with that beautiful Tura Lura Lura Irish lullaby, and it comes from that gorgeous thing to this guy who's like incredibly sinister.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, once Dom did the sweeping boom, I mean, it was just like an amazing thing. And to me, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, as I'm shooting it, I'm thinking, oh my God, I hope this is as beautiful as I think it's going to be. And it really was. And speaking of light and darkness, with Charlie, it's almost all darkness. And the only light that you ever see is when he finally sees his brother after 5-6 years, after he's helped stage his brother's death back in Ireland. And he reaches out and he sees the beard that he's grown over these years, and he has a small smile on his face, and he just grabs it and he says, "Nice touch." And that's about it. But before that happens, when the two brothers see each other, the audience has no idea what's going on between the two of them, because there's so much tension. And then all of a sudden, David just leans into me and gives me this huge hug. And when we separated and Lauren called cut, the entire set was like weeping.
Wow.
That's how powerful that was. And I think we did maybe one more take, and that was it.
If that.
If that, yeah.
You guys did an awesome. The acting was just phenomenal, and to create such characters with so much depth in such a short period of time, it's just a testament to all of you. So I applaud you. It was really beautiful work. Great. Lauren, I wanted to ask you, as writer, director, and actor, so just a lot of hats to wear. So were those roles easily interchangeable for you, or did you feel like you gravitated more to one or other?
They really all just blended into one. And it's funny, I'm thinking of, the next project, and I don't know how else to do it.
You mean other than doing every job?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, if you can do that, why not?
It's the type of thing where, especially if you're writing it, you are living it. And I wrote somebody who I knew that I would very easily sort of embody. So, the acting part of it was almost, I didn't have to think about it. I think the most and the writing was already done by the time you're filming it. So I think, when you're on set, I guess the top hat would then be that of director, which I was absolutely new to. And thanks to Dominic Savili, who was our DP, he was, my teacher, and Philip Newsom, our producer. Again, when people ask, how do you make your first movie? I say, you surround yourself by the right people. Absolutely. And everybody was able to just support, and I knew my actors, and this was my other thing, I only cast people who were good, nice people.
So all about that. I completely understand.
And we had no issues, and everybody was there for the project and to support each other. And if we did have a little thing, it was nothing. We went by it and we just continued. And so it was a wonderful experience. And those three hats, they just simultaneously just turned around and kept going.
Good for you. Well, amazing job, all of you. We're going to run out of time soon, but before we leave, I would love to know from each of you your greatest challenge and your biggest sort of takeaway from the project. Let's start with Jack.
Biggest challenge for any actor with little dialogue is to use your body, use your eyes, use the tone of the scene, and find out where you are in the production itself. The character says everything and it speaks everything. And that was a challenge. And it was so easy to meet when you have somebody like David to play against, and you have somebody like Brian Riley to play up against, and you have like all these other really rich characters to have a really, really fun exchange with. And I just felt at home the minute we set foot on set. So,
I love that.
yeah.
Beautiful. Molly, your greatest challenge or the biggest takeaway?
Ooh, well, funny enough, that was the first time that I had performed live in New York. I used to be a singer-songwriter back in California and San Francisco, and I was on stage pretty much every other night. But I hadn't been doing that in New York. So it was, I had to do it live instead of doing it to a pre-recording.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I think I had a heart attack. I was like, okay, let's figure this out. But it obviously ended up working great. And it was a challenge at the time because you have so many amazing people working in such a way that just was so much like a well-oiled machine. That you don't want to mess it up for them, like they're working so hard. So I did feel a little like, but it obviously worked out great because it was such a supportive, wonderful set, and everyone was incredibly nice and sweet. And I remember Jack coming up to me and giving me a big hug and going, "Molly," and I was like, "He remembers my name. That's cool." So
I'll forget.
I'll never forget that moment, Jack. That was wonderful. So, so those are my challenge and my.
And your beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Molly. And last but not least, Lauren.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, of course, as everybody else was talking. I think the greatest challenge was actually to start the project.
Mm-hmm.
I had this idea. I'm talking about the script, like putting that first pen to paper or like keyboard kind of thing. And it was the idea that I didn't have the answers. And I'm really OCD. Like I need to know things, and I didn't know, and I didn't know the end, and I didn't know the answer. And just having that ability to just let myself not know and just start.
Yeah.
I guess that was the biggest challenge. And once I started, like it all came out. And I mean, the greatest takeaway is that I really like directing. I used to be for people to succeed and for people to learn, people to grow, and can't wait to do it again.
Oh, we got the last slide. You broke up a little bit, but we got the last most important part, which is that you'd love to do it again.
Yeah.
Hooray! Well, you guys, we're out of time. I could talk to you for like another half an hour. Thank you so much for joining me. It was beautiful to share this experience with you. Best of luck with this movie. It's truly just wonderful work. And yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. You're beautiful.
Happy birthday.